Okay, so boys and girls, we are going to be starting a new module. And our new module is called, or our new topic is called Let Freedom Ring, which is very timely because we just had, what just happened in America? What did we just have, Teddy?
The election for the president.
We just had a presidential election, very good. And so what we're going to be talking about is different symbols, and what we're going to be talking about today is different symbols of America. And those all have to do with our country. And so boys and girls, we are going to be looking at a video about American landmarks. And so maybe some of you have seen these American landmarks, and so you'll have firsthand experience with the American landmarks. I think you're really going to enjoy this video. So let's look. It's called American Landmarks. Oops, where is it? Maybe I have to do it from my computer.
Let's take a trip. Touring the landmarks and monuments of the United States can teach us about the ideals our country values. First stop, Philadelphia. The Liberty Bell was first used to call the citizens of Philadelphia to civic events, like town meetings. Even after a big crack meant the bell didn't ring anymore, it was an important symbol. The words on the bell talk about liberty for all. That's why people working to end slavery were inspired by it. Today, the bell is tapped on important dates, including the 4th of July and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Buckle up. Next stop, Washington, D.C. There are so many great monuments here. But let's check out the Lincoln Memorial. It honors President Abraham Lincoln. He believed in the right of all Americans to share control of our laws and leaders. His memorial is a symbol of democracy and a great place to take a selfie. Next, let's go to Church Creek, Maryland, to the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad National Park. You can walk in the brave footsteps of Harriet Tubman, who helped people in slavery escape to freedom along a network of secret routes and safe houses. It was a dangerous journey, but Miss Tubman walked it many times. That makes this land very important. In fact, the land itself is the monument. Our next stop isn't exactly a stop. The Great Seal is a sign of our sovereignty. It's used on official documents to remind people that our country has the right to rule itself. Wait, before we go, see the Latin words on the scroll? E pluribus unum means one from many. The phrase is meaningful to the United States because our one nation was created from 13 different colonies. So the next time you see a dollar, remember, it's not just something to buy a snack with. It's a symbol of the people who have worked to create a country that is free, democratic, and united. How about you? If you could create a landmark or monument, what would it be? And where would you put it?
Oh, has anybody seen any of those landmarks, Jensen?
I have seen the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and I think the U.S. Capitol, but it wasn't.
Yes, the U.S. Capitol wasn't in there. Very cool. Has anybody seen any of those other places? Has anyone other than Jensen been to Washington, D.C.? Oh, you'll have to go. It's so cool. Isn't it cool, Jensen? So many historic places to see.
Especially on the 4th of July.
And you go, and those places are all free for you to go see them. The Smithsonian museums are all free for for everyone, which is so wonderful to see all these historic places. Yes?
My mom and dad think I need to be a little bit older to go there, so I'll enjoy it more.
So you'll enjoy it more. Yes, there's so many things to see. So many wonderful things to see in Washington, D.C. about our country. And the very cool things is there's so many foreign visitors who go see it too. So many people from all over the world go to Washington, D.C. to see the many things about our country. Now, boys and girls, I have a few words that I want to talk to you about. And these are the words. So first we have the word, and we're not going to write these because these aren't from our big story, and we're only going to be working with the words from our big story. But here's an important word, and this is a word you may hear a lot. Who's ever heard this word democracy? Democracy. We always say we live in a democracy. And so this is an important word because this is something that you're hearing a lot of lately. Everybody say the word democracy. Democracy is a noun, and it is a kind of government in which the people choose leaders by voting, which just happened in the United States. We chose all sorts of leaders. So in the last election, it wasn't just the president that we voted for. There were local leaders that we voted for as well. We voted for our governor. We voted for congressmen and women in some states. In Indiana, in our local area, we voted for, in Indiana, we voted for congressmen. Ours was a particular, we voted for, there were males running, but in other areas there could have been congresswomen running as well. So we voted for congressmen and women. We voted for representatives, state representatives. We voted for other local leaders. There were school board people running in Lake Central. So we voted for all sorts of different representatives and other people running for office. So this is what democracy means. It's a type of government where people choose leaders by voting. So you get to vote. Does anybody know how old you are when you get to vote? How old are you when you get to vote? Juliana?
18.
18. So when you're 18, you will get to vote. So democracy. Why do you think it's important for a country to have a democracy? Why do you think that's important? Libby?
So we can have a new president.
So you get to have a new president? Teddy?
So we get to have new leaders to maybe make our country better.
So we can have new leaders to make our country better? Yes, Juliana?
To keep our country safe.
To keep our country safe. Those are all good ideas. Okay? Now here's a word. Sovereignty. Everybody say sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
Sovereignty. Now that is the right and power a nation has to rule itself or another country or state. That's a big concept, sovereignty. And the founding fathers wanted America to have sovereignty or independence from British rule. Because remember, when our country was founded, who was ruling us? Who was ruling us in the beginning of our country? Pardon? Well, he was our first president, but who was our first leader? Do you know?
It was
Whose rule were we under? It was a king. It was the king of England. It was the king of England because we were British citizens. America was part of Britain. We were English. But we wanted to be our own country. Yes?
So, if like, so since like there's like the Donald Trump and the Joe Biden thing, do we have a real president right now?
Yes, we have a real president. President Trump is still our president until January 30th.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, until January, or January 20th, I'm sorry, January 20th, when the inauguration takes place. And then President-elect Biden will be sworn in as president, is how it works. So there's a transition of power that happens when a new president is elected, is how they do it. Which is what happened when President Obama transitioned from President Obama to President Trump. That's how it works in the United States. When a new president is elected, the inauguration always takes place on January 20th. There's a specific date that happens. So we have the election on a certain date, which was November. It's always November 3rd. It's always on the first Tuesday. So it's November 3rd, which is the election date. So we have the election. We find out who's the president. And then the inauguration is January 20th. And then that's the date. We have it, it's the rule of how it works. A person can only be president for 2 terms. That's 8 years. That's it. That is the rule. The United States does not want someone to be president for a very long time. They don't think that's good. They think 8 years is plenty. Then somebody else's turn. I think it's somebody else's turn, boys and girls. So that's the rules that we have. Okay. So now, boys and girls, so we're going to be learning some very, very interesting things that you're going to be learning. Now, here's what I want us to be talking about now. So let me get that up, which is what I should have done before. One of the things we're really going to be focusing on is something we've talked about before, but we're going to be talking about text features. And this time we're going to be talking about text features, and this is not showing up, I don't think, very good on our Mikey, can you turn the lights off? I feel like maybe there's some glare on the screen. Okay, I'm hoping we have less glare. Okay, I don't know if we do. There we go. So we have text features, and text features present important parts of the text in different ways. Now, the stories we're going to be reading in the next 2 weeks are all informational text. So they are going to have information that is true, factual information. So in text features, they present, we've talked about text and graphic features. So let's look at some information about text features. We know about boldface or italic text, and that can show emphasis or indicate a title. So here's some boldface. Remember, it's darker. And then we can have italics. Look at the way Cats is written, and that's where the writing is slanted, and it stands out to us. We can have headings and subheadings, and headings and subheadings name the topic of each section of text. So here we have caring for a cat, and so the information below it is going to be about caring for a cat. Then we have sidebars. This is a sidebar here. Do you see how it's in a box? Sidebars are boxed information that adds to the main text. You will see that quite often in informational text. You see it in magazines as well, boys and girls. Then we have captions. Captions tell about a picture. Do you see? We've seen that. We've seen captions. They tell more information about a picture. And then we have bullets or numbered lists, and they show main parts, points, or examples. Have you ever seen a bulleted list? We have the little dots, and then they have information in them. It'll be a list of something. They give you more information about something. Okay? And then we can have graphic features. Graphic features are visuals, such as a timeline, an illustration, pictures, graphs, maps, and tables that help explain ideas in the text. So, I'm going to scroll this up a little more, maybe so we can see it. Can I scroll that up some? Oh, guess what? Not letting me scroll up any. Oh, it says we lost our internet connection. I don't think we did. So we can see a timeline. A timeline is going to show important events in order. For example, in 2014, this person played soccer. In 2015, they won first at the science fair. In 2016, they went camping. And so it's all in date order. And then we have graphs. They plot data in a visual way. In a line plot here, we made a line plot in science. Okay. Now, they help us see something that would take a while to write out, and we can see it in a nice, quick, visual way. That's the advantage of graphic features. We could just look at it and see the information in a very quick, easy to recognize way. I like graphic features. They are very good for seeing information in a quick, easy to recognize way. Now, here's what we're going to do, boys and girls. We are going to be reading a story called American Places, American Ideals. Could you please open that up in your story, in your book? And we'll see if I can get to it. We are on page 228. 228. Oh.
Short read. American Places, American Ideals. Americans are loyal to the idea of freedom. In fact, our country was founded on it. Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, stands for this important ideal. This map shows sites in Washington, D.C. that stand for freedom.
I'm sorry, I want to go to 2 pages because we're going to be looking at the 2 pages. Yeah, I want to go to the 2 pages. So this is an informational text, boys and girls. And what do we know about informational text? What do we know about informational text? What can you tell me about informational text? Yes?
It'll tell you real information.
It gives you, yes, it gives you real information. It tells you real facts about a topic. Very good. And so why do you think we would read something called American Places, American Ideals? Why would we read something like this? Teddy?
It has the information to help us learn things.
About what? What are we going to learn about?
America.
About places in America. So let's start reading.
Short read. American Places, American Ideals. Americans are loyal to the idea of freedom. In fact, our country was founded on it. Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, stands for this important ideal. This map shows sites in Washington, D.C. that stand for freedom. The Lincoln Memorial. Abraham Lincoln was our 16th president. Lincoln led our country through the American Civil War from 1861 to 1865. The Lincoln Memorial was finished in 1922. The memorial holds a statue of Lincoln and has his Gettysburg Address inscribed on one wall. The memorial honors Lincoln and his ideals of freedom and justice. The Jefferson Memorial. Thomas Jefferson was our 3rd president. He wrote the first draft of the Declaration of Independence. It said the United States of America was free from Great Britain's sovereignty or rule. The Jefferson Memorial was finished in 1943. It holds a statue of Jefferson looking toward the White House. Beside the statue are words from the Declaration of Independence, the White House. In 1792, workers began to build a house for the president. President John Adams was the first to live in it. Later, during the War of 1812, British troops set the house on fire. Workers fixed it and painted it white to cover the damage. After that, it was known as the White House. The White House is a symbol of democracy. Democracy means rule by the people. That's how our government works. We are free to choose our leaders by voting. The Washington Monument. The Washington Monument was finished in 1884. It honors the first United States President, George Washington. He fought for our freedom from Great Britain. The Washington Monument is the tallest building in Washington. It always will be, too. A law says no building can be taller. The United States Capitol. The United States Capitol was first built in 1800. Congress meets there to make laws. This civic responsibility is so important that citizens from all 50 states elect the members of Congress. Through Congress, all citizens help shape our country's future. On the Capitol dome stands the Statue of Freedom. This bronze figure of a woman wears a helmet. The helmet symbolizes her role as a protector of American values.
Okay, oh, so many interesting facts that we just learned. So many interesting things. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at this, and I want you to think about the text features that we just talked about. And so here's what we want to figure out. What are some text features that you see on these pages? What are the text features that you see? Yes. Avery, what text features do you see?
I see the cars and people.
You see cars and people? Those aren't text features, though. Is that what you said? Cars and people?
Yeah.
Those aren't text features, though. Those are just part of the illustrations. Illustrations, I guess, are a text feature. Yes, Logan.
The bubbles that point to what they're talking about.
Oh, speech bubbles, okay. Those are a graphic feature. Okay, what else do we see? Should I go back to what text features are?
Yeah.
Okay, we can have boldface or italics. We can have headings. We can have sidebars. We can have captions, bullets or numbered lists. Do you see any of those things in here? Do we see any of those things?
Oh,
You see any of those things? Aleph?
there are italics
You see italics? Where do you see some italics?
in paragraph 1.
In paragraph 1, there's italics. Very good. I see those too. Good job, Aleph. What else do we see? What else do we see? Kelsey,
Headings,
you see some headings. Where do you see some headings?
like the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial.
Yes, I see that. This is what I want you to do. I want you to underline the headings. So let's underline that. So let's underline the headings. Let's underline the Lincoln Memorial. Let's underline the White House, the Washington Monument, the United States Capitol. Oh, I'm not seeing the Jefferson. Underline the Jefferson Memorial. Over here. Underline that. Underline all those. I love the Jefferson Memorial. It's my favorite of all those memorials there. Yes. What else are you seeing? Juliana.
Bold letters.
Bold letters. That's right. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the bold letters. Where do you see bold letters?
Lincoln Monument, Jefferson Memorial, and Washington House.
Yes. The headings are written in bold letters. Perfect. And why would they put them in bold letters? Why do you think that, Juliana?
Because they're the title of the thing.
They're in the headings. And why else would they put them in bold? Yanni, why would they put them in bold?
They're important and you need to know it.
Yes, they're important. They want us to see them, right? They want them to pop out and stand out. Yes, Ivy.
I would, since there's the White House. If you look at the White House, there's a picture of the White House, and it's telling information about the land.
Yes, very, very good. There's pictures. There's pictures of each of the different places. So we're seeing a picture that goes with it. Very good. What do you see, Avery?
And American places and American ideals is in like bold words.
Yes, it's in bold words. You know what? There's still something else that I'm seeing there that no one else has mentioned. Do you see it, Kelsey? What?
Captions.
These are captions. You're right. These are captions. You are right. These are captions, boys and girls. These are captions. This is a caption. That's a caption. That's a caption. That's a caption. Down there is a caption. There's still something else that I think you could be missing. Teddy, what is it?
On each of them, they're saying the numbers of the paragraph.
Okay, they always do that in our book, yes. We have our paragraph numbers. There's still something else. Juliana?
Timeline, they're telling when the year was.
Well, they don't have an actual timeline. We can make one from here, but we don't have a timeline. A timeline would there be an actual line with the different things on it. So we don't have an actual timeline. There's something else. Jensen.
They're in speech bubbles.
There's speech bubbles. We got our speech bubbles. There's something else. Yellow. I see something in yellow.
Oh.
Yes. Do you see it? Elisa. Do you see it? What is it? Tell me where it is. You could tell me a paragraph number if you have to. I don't see anything yellow in paragraph 3. Libby, do you see it?
In paragraph 1, it's highlighted.
In paragraph 1, it's highlighted. What word is that?
Loyal.
Loyal. Do you see it anywhere else?
In paragraph 4,
4. The word sovereignty.
paragraph 9,
Paragraph 9.
in
The,
paragraph 7.
9, the word civic. And paragraph 7, democracy. Those are all highlighted words for you. Because why would we highlight those words? Clark, why do you think we would highlight those words? Just because we like to highlight words? Why would we highlight those words? Just for fun? Why would we highlight those words? Logan, why would we highlight those words? Because what? They're vocabulary words. And they're they're vocabulary words and they're important words. Right? They're important words. So we would highlight them because we feel like they are important words to what we're reading. So we would definitely want to highlight those words. We definitely want to highlight those words, boys and girls. Okay? So let me see. So we underlined those. And the text in the box, what kind of information does each of these give us? What does it tell us about each of the memorials? So what kind of info are we finding out in each of the memorials? What is it telling us? Because it gives us some of the exact same information. Does it tell us when it was built? Does it tell us, Yanni, does it tell us when it was built?
Yeah.
Yes, it tells us when each of the memorials was built. So that's some important information, so we know when each one of them was built. Does it tell us why the site is important? Ethan, do we know why each of those memorials is important?
Yeah.
Yes. And does it tell us who is honored in each of these sites? Thomas, do we know why each of these sites, who is honored in each of these important buildings or sites? Who is honored in the Lincoln Memorial? Lincoln. Who's honored in the Washington Monument? Who is honored in the White House?
Everybody?
Democracy, that's right, democracy. Who is honored at the U.S. Capitol?
All the Congress members?
The Statue of Freedom. So that's what's honored at all those places. So that's what we are learning. So boys and girls. Now, why do you think we have these, oh, it's a time to switch. So there we go. That's what is going on with the text and graphic features.